Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello students, in this lecture we will be discussing the important questions of the first topic of this chapter, and the first question is, what is agriculture? As we studied the definition, the process of raising of plants and rearing of animals for food and other useful products is known as agriculture, right? Simply the process in which we raise plants and rear animals for food and other useful products. In this process is known as agriculture. Second question, what do you understand by the term crop? On what basis are crops classified, right? What is a crop? Same type of plants being cultivated at one place on a large scale. Same kind of plants being cultivated at once on a large scale is known as crop, right? Basically we grow same kinds of plants at once on a large scale. On large scale matlab this means that we are using a large piece of land for growing a same kind of seeds. This is known as crop, right? Now how are they classified? What are the basis of classification? They are classified under two categories. First one based on climatic conditions, or you can say seasons. Second one is based on the products obtained, right? This, students, was basically a 1 mark question in which you have to give the definition, and half mark is for this classification. If this comes as a 3 mark question, then you will have to detail the classification as well, right? In the next questions we will be understanding the classification also. But if it is a 1 mark question, you will write this much only. If it is a 3 mark question, you will provide detail for the classification as well. Third question, how do we classify crops on the basis of season? There are two classes. First one is Rabi crops. Second one is Kharif crops, right? Basically Rabi crops are grown in winter season. I am drawing a comparison so that you can learn easily. Kharif crops are grown in rainy season. What is the time duration basically? From October to March. These are grown from June to September, right? Examples, what are the examples? Wheat and pea, right? Examples for Kharif are paddy or rice and maize, etc. Right? So this is how you draw a comparison between Rabi crops and Kharif crops. These are the two classes. This is the classification based on the seasons or climatic conditions. The first class is Rabi crops, which are grown in winter season from October to March, and examples are wheat and pea. Second is Kharif crops, which are grown in rainy season because they require more water. They are grown from June to September, and basically the examples are rice and maize, right? Next question. What is the classification of crops on the basis of products obtained? So there are 8 classes here, right? First one being cereal, second one being fiber, right? Third one pulses, oil, sugar, vegetables, fruits and spices. So these are the 8 classes. which this classification is based on the products obtained first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth. So in cereals we obtain the plants which are rich in starch and fiber, right? For example, wheat, oats, barley, right? Second is fiber, from which we obtain fiber only, which are used for clothing. So these can be, example can be cotton, right? Pulses or legumes, these are rich in protein content, right? All the pulses that you remember, all the dals are the examples. Then oil yielding crops such as mustard, they give us edible oils, right? Then is sugar yielding crops. Basically from these crops we obtain sugar, and examples are sugarcane. Then vegetables, from this crop we obtain the vegetables which are good in water content, minerals and nutrients, right? Same goes for fruits. And then spices, which are utilized for adding flavor and taste to our food, and examples can be coriander powder, turmeric, etc. So this is a classification based on the products obtained, and these were the important questions for this topic. What are agricultural practices? Students, agricultural practices: cultivation of crops involves several activities adopted by farmers over a period of time, right? There are many activities which have been adopted by farmers over a period of time for cultivation of crops. Now these activities are known as agricultural practices, right? This is basically a 1 mark question. So students, the second question is, list down all the agricultural practices adopted by farmers, right? So here you have to tell about the agricultural practices serial wise. First is preparation of soil. Obviously, growth of crop begins from the soil. So the first step is preparation of soil. Second is sowing of seeds, right? You put the seeds into the soil. This is known as sowing of seeds. Third is irrigation, right? You provide water to the plants. This step is known as irrigation. Then we have protection from weeds, right? Third is crop protection. Sixth is harvesting, in which we obtain the yield from the grown crop. Seventh is storage. So these are the different agricultural practices adopted by farmers over a certain period of time, and these are all useful and help in growth of better crop yield, right? Plowing, basically in this we discussed plowing and leveling. So in this lecture we will be discussing the important questions related to plowing and leveling. So the first question is, why is it necessary to turn and loosen the soil? Why is this necessary? First of all, the soil present under the surface, basically a few centimeters under the surface, is rich in nutrients. So to bring the nutrient rich soil above the surface, it is necessary to turn and loosen the soil. Secondly, we basically can look at the advantages completely. Second is roots. First is aeration of roots. Second is roots can grow deep in soil. You will write them point wise. Third is growth of earthworms and microbes, which help in turning and loosening of the soil. Fourth is easy for farmers to apply fertilizers, and fifth brings the nutrient rich soil on the top, right? So these are the advantages of turning and loosening of the soil. You will be mentioning all the 5 points one by one, explaining them, right? Next question, how is plowing of soil done? What are the different instruments used? First of all, the definition of plowing is the turning and loosening of soil is known as plowing, right? The turning and loosening of soil is known as plowing. What are the different instruments used? The different instruments used are plow, right? Second is hoe, and third is a cultivator. I have explained all the three in the lecture. When you answer your question, you will be writing one line explanation for all the three. This basically is a 3-mark question, right? The 1 mark is for how is plowing done, right? Basically, first of all, what is plowing is the question. You provide the definition first of all, then the question will be how is plowing of soil done. The 1 mark is for definition, 2nd mark is for the procedure, how is plowing done, what is the procedure, right? 3rd is what are the instruments used for plowing. So all the 3 parts contain are for 1 mark each. So this question is for 3 marks, right? You will be providing the detail of each instrument, detail as in the work that it does and how it does that, right? And how the cultivator is better because it utilizes a tractor. It does not include any labor, right? No labor, no manual labor, no animal labor. It utilizes a tractor and it is much more efficient, right? These are the instruments used. You can look for the detail in the lecture. 3rd question, what are the advantages of plowing? First is aeration of roots. What is aeration? Aeration of soil. Aeration of soil is basically increasing the amount of air present in the soil for the better growth of earthworms and microbes. Second is roots can grow deep into the soil. The roots of crop can grow deep into the soil. Third is it helps in growth of earthworms and microbes. Fourth, it makes easy for farmers to apply fertilizers. Fifth, plowing brings rich nutrient soil on the top. These are the advantages, right? What is leveling? What are its advantages? Is done to make the surface of the soil uniform after the process of plowing, right? For leveling is done to make the surface of the soil uniform after plowing, right? Now the advantages are that bigger chunks of soil are broken into smaller pieces, as I have already explained why this is important. Secondly, prevention of soil erosion by wind or water. And thirdly, promotes the uniform irrigation, thus helping in water conservation and prevents water logging, right? So these are the advantages of leveling. You will be writing all the 3. So this was again a 3-mark question. 1 mark for the definition, 2 marks for the advantages, right? So these were the important questions of the 3rd topic of this chapter. Thank you for your attention, students.